Steel and Flame, Book 1 of the Guilds of Avlaan series is available on Amazon. If you like fluffy wolf lolly protagonists and Japanese light novels, follow the link below to check it out.
Hello, Leonardo Cornejo here with another video, and I have too many ideas right now. I have too many ideas to work on, but this one is one of the many that I took notes on, so I remember it immediately. There were others that I don't remember immediately because I didn't take notes on. There are others that have come from topics that I have already addressed, but I think I need to readdress, like for example AI and all of the stuff. But this one is one almost nobody talks about, and those who talk about it, they only speak of part of it, which is the starting part, but I think they need to address the other part, and that is that you need to let go when you love a big name, a big brand, a big IP. For example, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. You need to let go to save it. Everyone who talks about this say you need to let go. I think you need to let go so you can save it later. The thing is, we have seen it. We have seen it with Marvel, with Wizards of the Coast, which is basically Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. We have seen it with everything made by Electronic Arts and Ubisoft, that the quality is going down, that the things we loved are becoming things we hate, that they are adding political propaganda to the stuff we like, that basically everything is going to shit, that the quality is going down in terms of monetization in games, in terms of even material quality. For example, there were some really infamous prints of Magic the Gathering cards which had issues with the quality of the cardboard, because it's cardboard and ink basically, and the quality of the cardboard and the ink was bad. There was this meme about Pringles because of the foils bending, all that stuff, all those problems. We have seen basically everything getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It's time to let go. That's what many say. You need to let go. You need to stop giving them money. And I strongly agree. And there are people who say, no, but if we stop giving them money, they are going down. They are going to disappear. Yes, that's the thing. You need to let go before you can save them. You need to make the brand, the idea, the product extremely unprofitable. You need to make it go to shit. You need to let go, because the only way to save it is to let it die first. Is to let it burn down first. Is to get rid of it first. Why? Because as long as it remains profitable, despite the decreasing quality, the people who own it now are going to continue damaging it, are going to continue making it worse. Why? Because they can get away with it. Because if they know you are still going to buy it, that means quality doesn't matter. They don't need to worry about quality. They can throw the quality out the window, and that won't be a problem. But the moment you start saying, no, I'm not buying anymore, that's when the quality becomes a must. That's when they start losing money because of the diminished quality. And that's when the problem of diminished quality becomes a problem for them and not for you. And because, let's be honest, the stories told, because many try to follow them because of the stories told are garbage. I would even say you can decanonize them. You don't need to follow the canon of something that is bad. How? The canon is determined by authorial intent and IP holders, unfortunately. The last part, unfortunately. Why? Because all these products, they don't have a single author who has ownership over them. No, they have this whole, and I think that should end, this whole corporate IP ownership. Which means basically the ones who own the canon, the ones who declare the canon, aren't necessarily the people who are creative. I think that should end. In fact, I think I have said it, and it's connected, and I would like to address it better other time, but people don't seem to understand, and I insist. It's basically a mind virus that has taken hold of all these anarcho-capitalists. I think patents and trademarks are a fucking disaster. I think trademarks shouldn't exist at all. Patents need to be more limited. I think copyright should continue existing, but I think it shouldn't exist in the hands of corporations. I think corporations shouldn't be able to hold copyright. I think individuals should, authors should, and of the completed piece, not of the ideas. And regarding brands, if you want to be able to hold the brand, you need to keep the people who made it good, or to keep certain quality, to keep it profitable. That's how I would model it. And in that regard, let the fucking brand go to shit so that you can buy it. That's the point. That's my point. Maybe not you individually, but maybe a group of people with enough money, with enough capacity, and who understand how things work and who like the brand. The real fans with enough money, who can buy it and let them buy it, and then take over and start changing things and improving things. For example, I don't want to buy someone else's IP because I don't like owning it, because I don't like the idea of working on someone else's thing, because I like to do my own things. That's why I don't like fanfics. But there are ideas I would like to extract from particularly games or certain brands where I think they are being misused. For example, I would buy the slivers, and only the slivers from Magic the Gathering. Tell them, you can use them, don't worry. But I want the IP, I want the rights for the species, the entire species, and then make it the public domain so everyone can grade the slivers. I will be very careful with how I convince them, and I will be like, don't worry, you will be able to use them. Yeah, because everyone will, and I will use them. Why? Because I like that fictional species, but it's held by people who are really, really awful, incompetent, and who basically they try to own ideas. That's the difference. I don't like the idea of a species being owned, because I do think that's ownership of ideas. I explained it with the closed species thing. I explained it regarding my own characters, that it's not the species, it's the character, which I think is mine. The species is public domain to me. But for example, Wizards of the Coast has species which they do claim as their intellectual property. The slivers, the beholders, things like that. And I think that shouldn't happen, so I would buy them and release them to the public domain. That's like an idea and a hypothetical, if I could. But I can't, at least not yet. You can always help that cause by buying my books, by the way. I don't want to monetize these videos, but you can always help with that by buying my books. The thing is, with that in mind, I think the only way for that to happen is to make the brand, the intellectual property, extremely cheap. And to make it extremely cheap, what you need to do is burn it to the ground. Is let it go, let it die, let it fall. They turn to shit. They are already turning it to shit. You will just make sure it is monetarily shit too, because it's already shit. It's already bad. The quality is bad. The ideas they are using now are bad. Everything new they release is bad. And Wizards of the Coast is an example, but you have many. You have Marvel, for example, that every new comic is shit, and people only want the old comics. But if you do the right thing, and you stop feeding them, you stop keeping them alive, eventually they will need to sell. And if you plan ahead, you have a strategy, and you buy the brand when they are basically selling it for scraps, when they are selling it for real cheap because they don't have any other option, that's when you win. That's when you can take it back. That's when you can save it. Because everyone is like, oh, but we need to get them back. We need to save them. How? Buying more? How? Supporting them? With activism? Bitching? That doesn't work. That hasn't worked. You won't get the ones who have turned these brands into horrible garbage. You won't get them fired. That's a reality. You won't get them fired because they have already taken over. They control entire industries. They control entire brands. You won't get rid of them by getting them fired through activism, through peer pressure. Even cutting the money won't guarantee they switch to a better owner. It just increases the chances, but there's no guarantee. What guarantees it, however, is if you wait for it to get real cheap, you let it fall so low you can't save it, and it becomes worthless, and it becomes so cheap that you can buy it. And once you buy it, you fix it, not to make it profitable, but to fix it. That's another important part. You will be doing basically charity work at this point. It will be charity work at this point because you are not going to make money out of this plan that I am proposing. You are going to save what you love, but it is going to cost you, because there is a good chance it will never be profitable again, because we are talking about making it so unprofitable that no investor, no corporation, no, not fan, no activist will want to save it, because they will see it as something you can't save. It is fucked, it is over, it is ruined. They are selling it for pesos. Not for dollars, for pesos. And once they are selling the IP at that low, for pesos, for cents of a peso, when they are selling it that low, you buy it. You buy it that cheap. When they are basically selling it at liquidation price. And once you have the IP, you can do whatever you want with it. But there is a good chance you might not make it profitable. That's the important part you need to understand here. This is to save the IP for you, to save your hobby, not to save the business, not to save the profits, not to save the brand for the investors or for companies. No. This plan I am suggesting is for saving your hobby. It's for saving what you care for, what you are passionate about. It's for your own interest, without expecting any profit. You will need to expect nothing in return, because there is a good chance you will get nothing in return. Because there is a good chance the brand will be so ruined, so corrupted, so damaged, so fucked by these people at that point, that you are getting nothing out of it. The only thing you will get out of it, and that's why I say this is something only someone passionate about it can do, the only thing you will be getting out of it is owning the brand and being able to guide it in the direction you think is the best. And if you are bad at writing, if you are bad at creating, you will not only not make money, you will lose a lot, because you will ruin the brand even further. But it will switch hands until someone capable will take it. So that's basically, it's basically making a sacrifice so that eventually someone worthy can take it and repair it, and not make it profitable, but make it good enough to not be remembered as garbage for the rest of its history. To reach the point where you can say, yeah, there was a bad period, but it's good again. Not it's exceptional, not it's profitable. It's good again. After years of switching hands, after years of losses, after years of bad stories, it's good again, because it fell in the hands of a guy who knows what to do. Don't expect to get your money back. In fact, expect to lose it. Expect to lose it if you are not good at the creative process. If you are only the money guy, expect to lose it. Expect to lose a lot doing this. Expect to make sacrifices doing this, because it's not a guarantee that you will fix anything. You will get the brand, out of the hands of these people who are ruining it. That's for sure. You will get the brand out of the hands of these activists, out of the hands of these investors, out of the hands of BlackRock, out of the hands of these LGBT activists. But there is a good chance, even if you are a good writer with your own IP, which is my case, that you will fuck it up, that you will be unable to make it good, because it's not something you created directly. There is a good chance, since it is not something you created, that you will end up basically writing bad fanfics. Better than theirs, of course, but bad fanfics nevertheless. But what you will be doing is making it so cheap. Eventually, it will fall in the hands of someone who can make it good. Especially if you can revive the old stuff, the good old stuff. Now that you are the owner of the IP, if you revive the good old stuff and make it accessible to the public, that will keep the flame alive for enough time so that someone reads the old stuff, learns it well, and starts making the right choices and buys it from you. And that person will buy the next good Superman comic, for example, the next good Magic the Gathering Magic the Gathering expansion, for example, the next good Dungeons and Dragons edition, for example. This person who is another fan with better skills than you will be the one who will eventually write it right. And even that person probably won't make it profitable again, because we are talking about brands which will lose all respect from the audience. You won't make it profitable again. There is a good chance you won't save it, you won't make it profitable, but you will fix it. And eventually, if you are lucky and you keep passing the baton to real fans, eventually someone might actually make it profitable again. The only way to save all these things you love is by making sacrifices. And the first sacrifice is not giving money to the people who are ruining it. It's not giving incentive to continue ruining it. That's the first step to saving it. It's not easy. It's not easy to all these people who have dedicated their entire lives to a brand to let it go. But it's the only way to make it happen. It's the only way to make it possible. It's the only way to repair. Because all these brands have been ruined so bad by people so incompetent that currently they are beyond salvation entirely. Because they have made sure no one who doesn't think like them can touch them. No one who doesn't think like them can create for them. That's why Marvel is going to shit. That's why the entire Western comics industry is going to shit. That's why television is going to shit. That's why Doctor Who is going to shit. That's why Magic the Gathering is going to shit. Want to save it? First you need to make it unprofitable. First you need to make these people so poor they are willing to give it away. And then you need to start working on finding someone who can make it good again, who can restore it. As I said, it will be a path of sacrifices, of pain, of discomfort, or you can release it to the... that's another way. You can't, maybe you can't make it profitable, but you can release it to the public domain. You can release it to the public domain, and then you will lose it anyway. This is a path of sacrifice. The path to saving the old is through sacrifice. Is by letting it fall, the bad parts, let the bad parts die, cut the gangrene's lymph, and then restore the good parts, without expecting anything in return. It's an act of charity. It's an act of sacrifice. But if you really want to save the IPs you love, that's how you can do it. If you think you can save them, expecting someone else to fix the problem for you, it's not going to happen. if you think you can save them by continue pumping resources into them and encouraging the continued existence of the current status quo, it's not going to happen. That's why you need to let go. That's why you don't watch the next sorry, there was a bit of malfunction with the camera. That's why you don't continue consuming. That's why you don't watch the next Star Wars sequel. That's why you don't play the next Assassin's Creed game. That's why you don't play the next Pokemon game. That's why you don't buy the next Magic the Gathering expansion. That's why you don't buy the next Dungeons and Dragons edition. That's why you don't watch the next Doctor Who season. That's why you don't buy the next Spider-Man comic. You need to stop giving them resources. You need to stop encouraging them. You need to stop giving them money. Because if they are ruining your hobbies, your brands, the things you loved, and you keep giving them money for doing it, you won't save it. Even I will say, I won't judge, and I have done it, I won't judge those who buy the old stuff, but it's not going to deliver the message. Because some people say, for example, no, but if you buy the old comics, if you buy the old games, if you buy the old movies, they will understand that people still want the old ones and not the new ones. Yes, that's when you have reasonable people in charge. But remember, you don't have reasonable people in charge. You have activists, you have NGOs, you have investors who are not reasonable people, who are not acting in the best interest of the brand. So all that little money, try to keep it at a minimum. Try to keep it try to keep it short. Try to keep it to the point that the new stuff doesn't balance with it, because they will not try to make they will not make another Assassin's Creed game that is like the first three. They will try to make things that are like Assassin's Creed Shadows, using the few earnings coming from the first three. They will not make a good Star Wars movie. They will make things like the sequels, using the small amount of profits coming from the other trilogies, because they don't care about the good stuff. They want to make what they like. They want to make this propaganda. They want to make this crap. What they need is money to continue making it. The less money you give them, the less they can do that. That's why I don't believe in supporting companies. I believe in supporting creators. I believe in supporting sometimes creators that work for this or that company. I believe in supporting the end results, the products. But companies, no. And if the product is bad, even if the creator is good, no support. It's time to let go. If something is bad, just because you want the brand to keep afloat, don't buy it. Don't support it. If you want the brand to keep afloat, you're an idiot, because it's going to shit anyway. You need to let go. If you want to save it, you need to let go first. As I said, it's a gangrened limb. You don't keep the gangrened limb, you need to amputate it. To amputate it, you need to let go. I know it's a painful reality, I know it's not comfortable, I know people don't like to hear this, but it's the only solution. And if you don't follow that path, don't be surprised when you get more Assassin's Creed Shadows, when you get more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, when you get more Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition or Wars, when you get more of whatever expansions Magic the Gathering is releasing. The last one was, I think, Strixhaven. That was a magic school with proms. Was garbage. The last one I remember. That's what I'm saying. The last one I remember was that, and it was garbage. That's when I said I don't want to even know about the next expansions. I don't care. I am no longer interested in giving them my time or money, because Strixhaven sucks. It's disgusting. a magic school with promise. And if you don't want that, you need to stop giving them money. You need to let go. Because if you keep giving them incentive, if you keep giving them resources, they will continue bastardizing what you like. Well, that's it for today. Have a good one.